the Golden Age. That's what I would call the year 2016. It was a nostalgic era in Clash Royale, filled with happy players, amazing updates, and no greed involved. A time of experimentation, curiosity, and most importantly, just plain old fun. During this incredible era, one card stood out above the rest, capturing the hearts of players pretty much everywhere. With a staggering 44% usage rate, it was considered the best card in the game. And that card was none other than the Prince. The Prince immediately became a fan favorite, dominating the meta and shaping the future of Clash Royale. I deeply remember the first time I played with the Prince back in 2016, and it was love at first sight. I couldn't stop using him in every match I played. But what exactly made the Prince so powerful? How did his popularity soar to such great heights throughout his history? And which female character has caught the Prince's eye? Together, we'll explore the rise, fall, and lasting impact of the Prince in a way you've never seen before, including the juicy details about his crush. So I hope you're ready for this. Let the Prince's tale unfold. On January 4th, 2016, Clash Royale was launched, and with it a new card that would soon become a legend. The Prince. This epic card quickly captured the hearts of players everywhere with its unique abilities and playstyle. However, the Prince almost didn't make it into the game as an epic card. Before launch, the developers had originally planned to make him a rare card, but Supercell soon realized that he was no ordinary troop. He was a master of the art of jousting, a medieval sport where two mounted knights would charge at each other with lances, attempting to knock their opponent off their horse. And yes, it was just as deadly as it sounded.
What are you into?
I love drawing. Do you draw?
No, I'm mostly into jousting.
But before we continue, I just want to take a quick moment to mention that this video took a tremendous amount of time, research, writing, editing, all of that. So if you're enjoying the content and want to support the channel, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out and ensures that I can keep dedicating the time and effort to create high quality content just like this. So thank you absolutely so much for all of your support. So let's get back to the Prince's story. As players spent more time with the Prince, they started to learn more about his background. The Prince had a brother, the Dark Prince, and together they rode into battle on the same pony. But there's one question that's been on everyone's mind. Who's the lucky lady that's caught the Prince's eye? Well, in the Clash Royale series, it's revealed that the Prince's true name is Raymond, and the Princess is the love of his life.
So lucky. They get to go into battle.
And you, and you, and you, and you. All done. It's almost too easy. Ow! Arrogant princess! You are about to be fair miskabobbed.
Oh. Huh?
Ah, I believe this belongs to you, milady.
Oh, keep it. I have plenty more to shoot you with.
To remember me.
This surprise added a new layer of depth to the Prince's character, making him even more beloved by Clash Royale players. Unfortunately, it looks like Raymond is cheating on the princess, or, well, it didn't work out between them, as we could see him in the Dagger Duchess's introduction, fighting for her heart. But he quickly refused. In January, his usage rate already skyrocketed to 20%. That was a huge achievement for an epic card, clearly showing that players loved this card from the beginning. Supercell realized how effective Raymond was, and he was actually one of the first cards ever to receive a balance update, in which his hit points were decreased by 4%. This caused the Prince to die one hit sooner from the majority of troops, so it was a pretty significant nerf, but nothing too crazy to make the Prince's usage fall. One of the best combos at the time was the Giant, Prince, and Bomber. These cards proved to be extremely effective, as the Giant giant would tank, the prince eliminated anything that was in its way, and the bomber took care of swarms. But of course, arrows were crucial to have on hand, as at this time, the minion horde and minions were quite literally everywhere. And because the prince's rising popularity, players were forced to include cards to counter him. One of those cards was the Tombstone, as it spawned 6 skeletons upon its destruction, easily defending against the prince. Another popular counter to the prince was the Skeleton Army, which overwhelmed the charging prince with sheer numbers. But keep in mind, the Skeleton Army cost 4 elixirs, so it was only a +1 elixir trade, which wasn't something to worry about. In February, the prince's usage rate reached 24%, and this was just the beginning. Players found out that pairing the Hog Rider with the prince proved a deadly combination that was pretty difficult to stop. With the zap or arrows in this deck to counter the skeleton family, it offered a great offensive push. One of the reasons for the prince's rising popularity was the nerf to the Tombstone. Supercell realized the Tombstone provided too much value for a 3 elixir building, so its skeleton spawn at destruction was reduced from 6 to 4. And the domination of the prince continued rising. And that's why barbarians came in handy as a great choice for defending against the prince's pushes, but their count was only 4 at the time, so they couldn't provide as much value as they do today.
Collectors, I'm actually going to go for a pretty big push here, because he's kind of low on gold, or elixir, I assume. Oh, the barbarian drop, that's not good, because the barbarians are a really hard counter to this. I'm assuming this guy is running a golem.
The prince's charge could one-shot them or kill them in 2 hits, so if you paired the giant with the prince, you could easily take out the barbarians and the tower. There was one weakness that the prince had, and it was against spawners. That's why the popularity of the Goblin Hut especially rose to prominence. But despite the rise of spawners, the prince remained a dominant force in the game due to his ability to quickly take out high hit point troops. This made him a versatile card that could be used in a variety of strategies to great effect.
Ok, io adesso vado con il Prince. No, 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 difendi, 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 difendi. No, 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 no. No, ti prego, reggi, 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 reggi. Oh mio Dio, sì, cazzo, sì. Sì, cazzo, Prince, grande.
In March, Raymond's usage rate skyrocketed to 44%, solidifying his position as one of the best cards in the game. The introduction of the Dark Prince, Raymond's long-lost brother, played a significant role in this surge. By now, we know that the prince's name is Raymond, but what name does the Dark Prince wield? Well, there wasn't a name mentioned by Supercell, so the very smart and intelligent Reddit community chose his name as Dave, and I think it suits him pretty well. Raymond and Dave created one of the most devastating synergies in the history of Clash Royale, also known as the Double Prince combo. No matter the meta, the Prince family was always there, ready to charge into battle. But that's not all. With the arrival of the Dark Prince came the first legendaries, the Ice Wizard and the Princess. It's no wonder the prince's usage rate skyrocketed to such high numbers. He's got his big dark brother and his crush on the field. Luck was definitely on his side. The princess's splash radius and ability to counter swarms from a safe distance made pairing the Double Prince with her extremely effective. This caused a huge shift in the meta, with Double Prince and Princess decks dominating the arenas. However, the legendary Princess and epic card Dark Prince were extremely hard to obtain. Card rarity played a huge role in deck building back then. Getting an epic card made you smile, and getting a legendary, whew, that made you scream with joy.
Both good options though. And then right here we're doing the double Prince push. We supplement that with the Knight here, so the Knight takes the damage from the Inferno Tower. And then the Dark Prince, he drops his goblins or whatever, and the Dark Prince literally just destroys everything. It's so strong. And then we have our Princess to get rid of those.
Average players had no chance of getting the Princess or Dark Prince, so they chose alternatives like the Valkyrie, Prince, and Bomber combination. The synergy between these cards proved powerful, and Arrows and Fireball could easily take out swarms.
And now Valkyrie in front of him, the Valkyrie's gonna take out the swarm right here, and now Bomber as well. So with the combination of Valkyrie and Bomber, there's no way he's stopping us with those barbarians. And now we're gonna add some powerful single target damage with our Musketeer. And now we're gonna also support the Musketeer behind with our archers, take him out, and now send out our Prince. He's gonna charge in onto that Musketeer and take her out in one shot.
As players tested different strategies, one deck became legendary: the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince. This deck was feared for its sheer power and ability to quickly take down towers. With the P.E.K.K.A.'s tankiness, the Prince's charge attack, and the Dark Prince's splash damage, it was a force to be reckoned with. The Princess took care of swarms from a safe distance, the 5 Elixir Collector provided an extreme advantage, and the overpowered freeze could freeze troops for up to 7.1 seconds. That's almost double today's 4 seconds at all levels. It's no wonder it was the most hated and loved deck at the time. The meta evolved to counter this double prince meta, giving birth to Hog Trifecta decks, which synergized perfectly with the Hog Rider, Valkyrie, and Musketeer. The quick cycling with skeletons, the huge elixir advantage from Elixir Collector, and the deadly poison that damaged troops and towers while slowing their attack and movement speed by 25% made it a formidable opponent. The popularity of the Trifecta deck caused the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince to become less dominant. In May, all Trifecta cards were at the top of the usage list, while the Prince family hit a very low usage rate. P.E.K.K.A. and Prince at 4% and Dark Prince at only 2%. The meta was not a great fit for high damage cards like P.E.K.K.A. and Prince. Thankfully, Supercell realized this and gave the Prince family some love in the July balance update. The Dark Prince's damage was increased by 8% and he became unaffected by pushback. The Prince's damage was also increased by 9%, allowing him to take out wizards or musketeers in one hit. And wouldn't you know it, these buffs caused the family to come back into the meta, with the Prince reaching 10% usage and the Dark Prince at a hot 9%. The Furnace meta was unexpected, as Supercell decreased its cost from 5 to 4. Despite reducing its stats, the Furnace gained extreme popularity across all levels of play. A new meta deck was created, the combo of Double Prince, Princess, and Furnace. This extremely powerful deck dominated the meta, leading to a surge in usage rates for all 3 cards. Players had to adapt their strategies to counter this deck. In August, the Goizen meta terrorized the arenas for weeks to come with the powerful Poison, newly buffed Prince, and cheap 5 Elixir Pump. The Goizen deck controlled the pace of the game and overwhelmed opponents with relentless pressure. Players had to rethink their deck compositions and tactics to effectively counter this formidable strategy. The Elixir Collector was at a 63% usage rate, Giant at 32%, and Prince at 14%, showing no signs of slowing down. Supercell's August balance update increased the Prince's damage by 2%, further solidifying the Goizen deck's dominance and causing frustration among players struggling to find effective counters. The newly added Lumberjack brought excitement, as players immediately started using him with the Double Prince. The Rage spell placed after the Lumberjack's death allowed the Double Prince combo to overwhelm opponents with speed and damage output, making it a popular choice in many decks. Things got even more insane in October with the introduction of the Mega Minion, the most game-changing air troop in 2016. With a faster attack speed and more hit points than the current counterpart, the Mega Minion could easily take out all air troops, ground troops, and even swarms. It was used in every deck, from Lava Loon to Giant Beatdown, Graveyard, Hog Rider, and Logbait, you name it. Everyone called it the Meta Minion, and that was for a reason. It was in literally every single deck. Just a few days after its introduction, the Mega Minion reached 35% popularity, while the Prince skyrocketed to 32%, becoming the 6th most used card in the game, and the Golden Era was back. Players started ditching the Mini P.E.K.K.A. in favor for the Mega Minion, which appeared 124 times in 200 decks, compared to the Mini P.E.K.K.A.'s 30 appearances. The Mega Minion provided so much more value on the field, taking out any ground or air troop with ease, and because of this, players aptly called it the Flying Mini P.E.K.K.A.
What was the nickname that you called it and people on Reddit call it?
Everyone calls it Meta Minion on Reddit because I think every deck that's popular had it in there somehow. Like the Hog deck, the Golem deck, the Lava Hound, it's just really strong.
Yeah.
Value. So
even though when we first played with it, we were like, this thing sucks. And then once people figured out that it was really
amazing on defense.
The Goizen meta quickly shifted from using Mini P.E.K.K.A. to Mega Minion, becoming an even bigger terror than ever before. The combo of the giant Mega Minion, Prince, and Poison was unstoppable. appearing as the top deck in the game with 24 appearances out of 100 matches. Supercell realized the Goisen meta dominance and made adjustments to balance the cards involved, causing the most dramatic shift in meta ever seen in Clash Royale history. Right when the balance changes were added, card usage percentages changed drastically. So, let's go over the numbers. Log went from 8% to 68%, Skeleton Army from 6 to 46%, Lightning from 3% to 36%, Guards dropped from 52% down to 9%, our poor Elixir Collector suffered, reaching as low as 5% compared to 88% previously, and Poison went down from a 75% usage rate all the way down to 1%. Unfortunately, all the way at rock bottom was the Prince family, with Raymond at a 1% usage rate and Dave at a flat 0. The Mega Minion, big surprise, continued to rise, reaching 86% in November. Everyone called for nerfs, but nothing happened. The Prince reached 0% in November, becoming the worst card in the game due to the dominance of swarm cards like Minion Horde, Skeleton Army, or Tombstone. The popularity of bait decks skyrocketed, making it difficult for high damage cards to be effective. But the Prince's journey was far from over. In December, Clash Royale introduced arena battles, 16 epic duels between players who had to live the game, like eating pancakes while playing the Mini P.E.K.K.A duel or riding a bull during the Prince duel. It was amazing to watch, but unfortunately Supercell doesn't organize them anymore. Videos like these show that Clash Royale was fun a long time ago. Back in my day, Royale was actually fun!
Hello! Yeehaw! Howdy, partners, and welcome to the Clash Royale Arena Battles. Hundreds of thousands entered. Now, 16 champions. Live the game. In 8 ridiculous duels. Who will advance to the crown duel?
Left-hand tower and the fireball as well did a good amount of damage.
Dirty Italian has 20 seconds to bring this back to even. He needs to. His entire arena battle life depends on it.
What can he do, man? Dirty Italian has to make a move right here.
He's got to send maybe the Prince in with a minor. He's got to stay on his bull.
They have 10 seconds left.
Backstab's trying to hold the iPad with one hand, the bull on the other. Dirty Italian gets whipped off, and Backstab falls off at the same time.
It's not enough time.
Not enough time, especially when you're not on your bull. Backstab has taken it to win this arena battle.
Backstab has won. Backstab has won the battle. Backstab is the winner. How do you feel, buddy?
Oh man, I'm so dizzy right now.
At one point, you
so
were
happy.
actually getting trampled by a mechanical bull.
I got trampled, I got kicked. We got a little scab right there, but
Yeah, that is actual blood.
no pain, no gain.
This guy will bleed for Clash Royale.
Of course.
He'll bleed for it.
Anyway, as 2016 ended and the Prince's usage rate hit rock bottom, it seemed like all hope was lost. However, this was merely the calm before the storm. Raymond was silently gathering his strength, preparing for a comeback unlike anything the arena had ever seen. The meta shifted and new cards took the spotlight, but the Prince remained patient, honing his skills and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It is January 1st, 2017. Happy New Year, old me, and the Elite Barbarians have taken the Clash Royale meta by storm. Their usage rate skyrocketed to an impressive 33% in January, solidifying their position as one of the most popular cards in the game. Just a few weeks prior, however, they were sitting at a mere 0% usage rate. The Elite Barbs were considered extremely weak upon their release, and Supercell knew they needed a boost. So instead of a minor buff, Supercell showed the Elite Barbarians an overwhelming amount of love. They increased the Elite Barbarians' hit points by 19%, their damage by 14%, and reduced their attack time interval from 1.5 seconds to 1.4. One heck of a buff. This meta shift caused many previously underutilized cards to rise in popularity. High-hitting troops like P.E.K.K.A, Inferno Dragon, and the beloved Prince saw their usage rates jump from 0 to 16%. Even the Furnace found its place in the meta. reaching an impressive 32% usage rate, just behind the Elite Barbarians. Players were forced to adapt to the new meta, adjusting their strategies and card selections to remain competitive. Countering the Elite Barbarians and other popular cards became a top priority, and players had to think quickly to develop effective strategies. One deck that gained significant popularity during this time was the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince, which included the Executioner and Tornado. This combination proved to be a strong counter to the Elite Barbarians and other meta-defining cards, allowing skilled players to climb the ranks and achieve success in competitive play. The strategy was simple yet effective. Players would seek out opportunities to place the Elixir Collector, gain an Elixir advantage, and then push with the P.E.K.K.A. and both Princes. The Executioner and Tornado provided excellent defensive capabilities, as the Tornado was considered one of the best spells in the game at that time. The P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince deck became a dominant force in the meta thanks to its versatility and favorable matchups against popular strategies. And to the relief of many players, the Elite Barbs received several nerfs by the end of January. However, the Furnace remained among the best cards in the game. As a result, Giant, Prince, and Furnace decks continued to dominate the meta in February. The combination of the Executioner and Mega Minion allowed this deck to effectively counter a wide range of strategies, making it a top choice for players looking to climb the ranks. The popularity of Double Prince decks persisted in April, as players couldn't resist this powerful synergy between two princes and their ability to quickly take down towers. Tragically, the Prince's usage rate plummeted to 0% in June, marking a drastic change in the meta. So, several factors contributed to this shift. In January, the Goblin Gang was introduced, providing excellent value for just 3 Elixir and quickly becoming a staple in many decks. Additionally, Skeletons received a substantial buff, increasing their number from 3 to 4. This change had a massive impact on the meta. In June, Larry broke Clash Royale with an astonishing 77.5% usage rate, appearing in 145 out of 200 decks. The Goblin Gang also saw significant usage, appearing in 81 decks, translating to a 40.5% usage rate. These cards became popular choices for cycle decks, further pushing the Double Prince decks out of favor. Also, the introduction of the heal spell added another layer of complexity to the meta. Initially, the heal spell seemed like a useless addition, but players soon discovered its potential to change the tide of battle when used effectively. One deck that showcased the heal spell's power was the Three Musketeer Beatdown, which appeared in 39 out of 100 recorded matches. And you could bet the Goblin Gang and Skeletons were integral parts of this deck. The Three Musketeer Beatdown was one of the most formidable decks in 2017, especially when compared with the heal spell. The synergy between the heal spell and the Three Musketeers allowed players to catch their opponents off guard and turn seemingly lost matches into victories.
Alright, hit that. Heal spell. Heal, don't follow me. Yes, heal spell again, guys! Maybe another 3 crown here. Let's go right here. He does have Fireball Zap ready, but guys, the 3 crowns are a-coming. Look at that, boom! Good game! Another!
During this time, Raymond struggled to find his place in the meta. He remained at a 0% usage rate for weeks and months, leaving him lost and longing for his beloved princess. Supercell recognized the prince's plight and knew they needed to take action. In December, they implemented a balance update, increasing the prince's hit points by 5% and reducing his attack time interval from 1.5 seconds to 1.4. These changes breathed new life into the prince, making him a viable option once again. The community celebrated the return of their cherished prince, eager to see him charge into battle alongside his beloved princess.
The prince is receiving a 5% health boost and a faster attack speed. Its speed will be 0.1 second faster. This is a 7% increase in damage per second. Those moments when you can hit the tower just one more time for that 325 damage will change the game completely.
Interestingly, the prince found a new home in Logbait decks, synergizing well with Fire Spirits. These 3 fiery companions could easily take out Goblin Gang, Skarmy, Bats, or Minions, making them a valuable addition to the deck. As the sun set on 2018, the prince rode off into the horizon, his heart filled with hope, his soul brimming with determination, and his love for the princess burning brighter than ever. The greatest chapters of Raymond's story were yet to be written, and the world of Clash Royale eagerly awaited the next installment of his epic tale. January of 2018, the Prince is one of the key components of log bait decks. One of the best players in Clash Royale, Surgical Goblin, showcased just how powerful this deck could be, even against the popular Three Musketeer beatdown. This deck could provide relentless pressure, with the Ghost at the bridge or Princess at the bridge, but the most terrifying combo was definitely placing the Prince in the Goblin barrel if the opponent was low on elixir. This was a constant win.
Decides to go with a better ram. Maybe now he will go with it. Let's see. There you go. There's his musketeers. So let's actually go with a goblin barrel and let's go with a princess and then go with a royal ghost. The royal ghost is actually really good at splash damage. So I think that we will take down the musketeers easily, and we take down the right side tower, guys. That was a really nice push, and that shows how good this deck, even first 3 musketeers hit, even though we don't have a big spell. So 10-0 right now. Let's give him the good game, let's give him the well played, and let's give him the thumbs up.
The popularity of the Prince family continued to soar. In March, Dave was used 70 times in 200 matches, indicating a 35% usage rate among top players, and a bit lower is Raymond, at 49 appearances, indicating a 24.5% usage rate. Also, it's important to mention the Giant, sitting at a strong 28%. The reason why the Giant double Prince deck came back into the meta was the huge rise of extremely annoying Expo decks. If we look into the stats in February, Expo is holding at second place with 28 appearances in 100 decks, and that's why top players like Surgical Goblin immediately switched from log bait to Giant beatdown, as the tanky double Prince and Giant never let Expo lock on the tower. With the Dark Prince's splash damage, it was pretty easy to take out Skellies and Archers, making this deck the perfect counter against the Expo. The double Prince combo worked very well in the Golem beatdown too.
Great success against Surgical Goblin. So guys, let's go jump straight to some high ladder games and let's assert some dominance. For him. Wow, he's actually going to go in for a barrel. This is actually going to work out really well, but our Prince is still going in the lane that we want it to. The Golem is still going in the lane that we want it to. Everything is going to be working fine for me. So I'm going to go in for my baby dragon. I'm going to be supporting my push. With 30 seconds left, there is absolutely no way for him to defend this. Despite him taking the tower, he's going to be in a world of pain here. The Dark Prince is going to be barreling on through. The Mega Minion is also asserting dominance. We're going to be going in for our own Prince, and I feel like we got this in the bag. I honestly am not too scared. With 14 seconds left, he's just expended too much elixir. We're going to go in for a pre-log on the Goblin Gang. And wow, we just need one Prince hit. That's all we need, dude. Come on, give it to daddy.
As we can see here from Surtag. Surtag knew how to assert dominance with this deck, taking advantage of the synergy between the double Prince, Mega Minion, and Baby Dragon to overwhelm opponents. This versatility and adaptability are what makes the Giant beatdown deck a strong choice in the current meta. No wonder that in March, this deck appeared in 37 out of 100 matches. And we can see that the Expo players started giving up, as the Expo is nowhere near the top, reaching only 13 appearances in the same month. Unfortunately, in June came a new balance update that made all charging cards charge at 3.5 tiles, which was a pretty huge hit for our Prince. It may seem like nothing at first, but the Prince had a charging tile of 2.5. So this increase to 3.5 meant that the Prince didn't often charge quickly enough to get that sneaky heavy hit on the tower.
Dark Prince, Mega Knight, Battle Ram, and the Bandit, they will all now share one thing in common. Their charge, jump, and dash ranges are now 3.5 tiles.
But his overall effectiveness remained basically the same. Yeah, the Prince was nowhere near 25% like in March, but he held a steady position of around 15% across all levels of play, still being at the top of the list. And surprisingly, Supercell still thought the Prince was underwhelming, as in September a new balance update was introduced, increasing the Prince's hit points by 5%.
The Prince's health is being increased by 5%. This is very subtle. Not much really changed. His health at tournament standard is going to increase though from 1536 to 1615. This just means that he'll be able to absorb one extra tickle from most of the small hitters like a Knight.
You know, a lot of times players will underestimate these buffs, not realizing how much more powerful the card could be just by surviving one extra hit. And as a prime example of what I mean, let's watch a short clip from Surtag.
Okay, what the heck? What do you have, man? What is this insanity? You got the E-Barbs like bridge spam with the, I don't even know, the Ice Wizard bridge spam. You're wild, man. We're going to end up going for a Spear Goblins here. You're going to end up going for a Musketeer. We'll poison it. I think that the Prince gets a hit on your tower. And I think that the dominance is assured right now. Yeah, this is a pretty good game here.
This small buff made a significant impact on the prince's survivability in battles, allowing him to dish out more damage before being taken down. And because of that, he found his way into graveyard decks, replacing the cannon card, as now the prince had more HP and could provide an incredible offensive push. But graveyard wasn't the only deck in which the prince held a position as a key component. Logbait was back, and the prince was in line with the princess once again. Things could not turn out better. Also, Surtag wasn't the only one who saw the huge potential in the prince, as Surgical Goblin also started dominating the meta with Logbait. It was amazing to see how such a small buff could bring so much variety to the game. The prince was back, and he was ready to shake up the meta once again. Keep watching, because we're just getting started. These first years are just a warm-up, as the best is yet to unfold. So, we're skipping ahead here to April of 2019, and Raymond proved that he's not afraid of any meta, as he reached a 17% usage. This was primarily because of the dominance of Golem, Royal Giant, and Giant in the majority of players' decks, as the prince is the best counter against big, chonky boys. Surprisingly, one of the most popular decks was the Graveyard with the combination of both Princes and Zappies. This deck proved to be a very good counter to the heavy beatdown decks that were prevalent at the time.
It's absolutely absurd. This deck currently has the single highest win percentage out of every deck in the game in Grand Challenges, and I know what you guys are already thinking. Shane, it has Zappies in there. Zappies are garbage. Why are you showing me this deck? Surprisingly, right now in Clash Royale, the Zappies actually have the highest win percentage out of any card in the entire game in Grand Challenges, guys. It's absolutely absurd now.
And because of the rising popularity of Graveyard and Beatdown decks, one deck skyrocketed in usage above all else during April 2019. The Prince Minor Control deck.
Secretly overpowered, and very few people actually think so, but when it gets that hit, man, it's incredible. I feel like you only need one Prince hit, and then you can cycle Minor Poisons out for the rest of the game just to win.
This deck was able to effectively counter both Graveyard and Beatdown decks. The Inferno Tower could shut down tanks, Poison, Barbarian Barrel, and Snowballs were the perfect counters to Graveyard. And with the cheap Bats and Super Goblins, players could easily build up pushes over and over and over and over and over and over again with the Minor and Prince. The versatility and effectiveness of the Prince Minor Control deck allowed players to adapt to various matchups and outplay opponents consistently. Also, by the end of April, the Giant Double Prince deck was back in the meta once again, this time with the Electro Wizard, since the Inferno Tower was literally everywhere. It's amazing to see just how some decks never die. Yeah, they can be weaker in some metas, but extremely overpowered in others. The deck reminds me of 2.6 Hog Rider, which was also a deck that really never vanished and was always holding the top of the meta, no matter what. Anyway, in June, players switched from using Electro Wizard to Electro Dragon, as they realized that it provided much more value against the relentless Inferno Tower. Boss actually ended up #1 in the world with the Giant Double Prince and the Electro Dragon. This deck showed up at the top of the meta very often, as more and more YouTubers created content around this deck, and especially Surtag.
They're going to meet their match with the guards. Check out this deck for 12 Grand Challenges, hit it up on the ladder, and I think it just has great matchups in almost every scenario.
Unfortunately, in July 2019, an update decreased the Prince's range to 1.6 tiles, down from 1.8, which now classified him as melee long. This was a pretty significant difference, as now he had to get closer to troops to strike them.
He currently has a 1.85 tile range, but will it be reduced to 1.6 tiles? This means units like the P.E.K.K.A. can get a little closer before getting to the Prince, and ranged units will have a little more room for error. Those times where you think the Prince can't possibly connect, and then he just connects anyways. It's ridiculous. It's gonna happen slightly less now.
At the beginning of 2016, the Prince's range was 2.5 tiles, so that's already a 35% decrease. That's a huge difference, and we can see the difference here in this old 2016 clip.
Starting to break some ground on the left side here. He's got a skeleton spawner, so it spawns skeletons constantly, so my defenses will get distracted by that if he puts in any other troops. Now, fortunately for us, we're able to push pretty hard on the right side with the Prince.
The Prince's decreased range made it more valuable to enemy troops, affecting its overall effectiveness in battle. But it didn't stop players from finding new strategies to adapt to the change and continue using the Prince in their decks. In July, the Prince Minor Control and Giant Double Prince decks were still dominating the meta, especially by Surtag and Boss. Both of these decks proved to be one of the best choices against the current beatdown and graveyard meta. Unfortunately, I haven't found any screenshots of the mid-2019 meta, and I hate to toot my own horn here, but if I can't find them, I guarantee that no one can. But I happened to be playing at that time, and I remember just how dominant those decks were in the competitive scene. One worthy mention has to go to this variation of Mega Knight, Double Prince, and Minor.
We have poison in hand. Let's see if we use it here, or if we decide to go opposite lane. So nice job not using the poison. We go in with a Mega Knight. Mega Knight goes and leaps onto the tower. We have a Prince on the King Tower. We have a Mega Minion on the opponent's Mega Minion, and we have a Minor in back of that tower, chipping away. Poison's down. Mega Knight's still alive. Mega Minion's alive. Tower down. There we go. 12 seconds into overtime. That's another victory.
That gained popularity in September, since the Royal Hogs were at the top of the list. With the Mega Knight, this deck was able to counter them effectively. This deck also had a strong defense against beatdown decks, making it a versatile and powerful option during that time. However, what came next was a big stab in players' hearts, especially for Prince lovers. By the end of 2019, Supercell introduced two new cards, the Elixir Golem and the Battle Healer, and a new meta was born. This period is known as the most no-skill meta of all time, spamming Battle Healers, Elixir Golem, Night Witch, and E-Drag. If we take a look at this screenshot from December, we can see the Night Witch being at 38% usage, Battle Healer at 14%, Elixir Golem at 13%, and Electro Dragon at 10%. Clearly showing that the Elixir Golem was the new meta. As the Prince's usage rate plummeted to a mere 3% in the face of this Elixir Golem meta, it seemed as though his glory days were behind him. But even in his darkest hour, a glimmer of hope remained. One deck, a Goblin Giant Double Prince combination, stood tall against the Purple Blob's dominance. With its clever use of cheap support cards and the timeless synergy of the Prince and his Dark Brother, this deck proved that the Prince's spirit was far from broken. For he knew, deep within his noble heart, that this was not the end of his story, but merely the beginning of a new chapter. The Prince's popularity, though diminished, was far from extinguished. The Prince had weathered countless storms before, and he would do so again, rising from the ashes of the meta to reclaim his rightful place at the top. That brings us to January 2020, and the Clash Royale scene burst with one of the most irritating cards in Clash Royale history, the Firecracker. With her unpredictable movement and splash damage, she quickly became a staple in many decks, frustrating opponents with her ability to hit multiple targets at once, and her recoil made her extremely annoying to deal with. By the end of January, she reached a 22% usage rate, becoming the 8th most used card in the game. That's why the Goblin Giant Double Prince deck evolved, and players incorporated Firecracker as a great counter to swarm troops and air units.
Guys, with Firecracker, Adrian is the first pro to reach out to me saying that he's found a deck that he absolutely loves. He says this deck has been destroying for him using the Firecrackers,
helping the deck maintain its dominance in the meta. The combination of Prince and Firecracker was really a game changer, as the Firecracker's ability to clear out swarms allowed the Prince to charge straight to the tower. Well, at least most of the time. Unfortunately, thanks to the dominance of Elixir Golem and cycle cards overall, the Prince had no chance to get on top of the list, and he stayed around 3% across all levels of play.
If your opponent can't deal with the Prince, and a lot of people don't play the Prince in Clash Royale right now, but I think they should. If anything, I think the Prince is kind of undervalued. I think it's low-key underrated.
And because of that, Clash Royale devs decided to give him a bit more love. And in June, a New Balance update increased the Prince's hit points by 3%. This small buff was secretly pretty overpowered, as the majority of cards, and also the Princess Tower, had to hit the Prince one more time.
69. You will require one more hit from the Witch, Bomber, Musketeer, Wizard, Prince, Princess Tower, and the King Tower, as well as the Cannon and the Bomb Tower. He's ever so slightly more tanky, and it might just be the nudge to bring him back into the meta without aggressively overbuffing him.
Prince getting a small buff. Really anything helps, you know, a 3% hit points buff might not seem very, you know, significant, but you have to remember, think about all those times where the prince dies and it's almost going to charge on their tower. Now it's occasionally going to get that charge on their tower or even that hit when before it wouldn't, so it can make a huge difference.
This buff skyrocketed the popularity of giant double prince decks back into the meta.
Good thing I have him muted because he always BMs too, which is another reason why I don't like this guy. Do we actually have a chance? Wait, did he get too aggressive? No way. Oh my gosh, we actually won.
One worthy mention has to go to September, when 2 cards broke the meta, thanks to some recent buffs. First, the Heal Spirit, which reached a 34% usage rate, becoming the best card in Clash Royale, and
stuff. Alright, that gets 1 hit. No, it doesn't. Alright. Oh, that's why he didn't Fireball last time, he just didn't have it. Makes sense, now that I'm thinking about it. Oh! That heal! Chill, bro. Chill. Yeah? Heal it up. Nice.
Could get a rage there or something. Let's make him rage with the Magic Archer, Ram Rider, and Heal Spirit. Magic Archer's gonna lock onto the tower. We can heal it up and get so much more damage, win the game immediately. You'll love to see it.
And second, Skeletal Dragons, which hit a 22% usage rate. It's kinda no wonder that this Golem double prince deck with Skelly Dragons and Heal Spirit proved to be pretty unstoppable in the Clash Royale competitive scene.
Now, right here is a 4.5 elixir Golem double prince pump deck with the Heal Spirit in there as well, guys. The Heal Spirit is the single most broken card in Clash Royale and honestly makes this deck so easy to use. You can just turn your brain off and win with it. Never seen that before in my 4 years of Clash Royale. The Goblin Barrel for the pump with the RG to tank for it. Yo, the Heal Spirit there just hit up the entire prince. How is that legal? Dude, the Heal Spirit is busted. Yo, E-Drake in here, please. Okay. Kill my Dark Prince up, please. One more Dark Prince here. Yes, we healed it up because the Rammer gets shredded. Doesn't even make it across half a unit tower.
In December, the Prince's usage rate doubled, from 3% up to 6%, but what caused this sudden surge in popularity? Well, in the December balance update, Bats and Goblin Giant received a pretty significant buff, boosting the popularity of Giant Double Prince back to the top of the meta. And so, as the final moments of 2020 ticked away, the Prince rode off into the sunset, his legend growing with each passing day, his place in the annals of Clash Royale history forever secure. With a steady glint in his eye and a heart full of determination, the Prince charged forward into the unknown, ready to write the next chapter of his epic tale. It's February of 2021, and the Prince has charged his way into graveyard decks. To understand why, let's listen to Cash for a second.
Prince Ali, fabulous he, Ali above.
Today I got Prince, and 2 Princes to be exact. Yes, this Prince Graveyard deck. I saw it in the Brenchon Cup. I was fortunate enough to be casting 2 of the regions in the Brenchon Cup, and I saw a lot of people play this deck, and I saw it succeed a lot in the competitive scene, so I thought, you know what? Let me give it a try as well. This is a deck that's been really, really popular recently. It's been rising in popularity in the Brenchon Cup, and I think there's some merit to it. Why it's been so popular, it's because it's really good. And as long as we can just not give him that, okay, he gets a little bit of lightning value, but not as much as he should have. This is the push. This is where I just win, correct? He can't defend this. He can't defend this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why this deck is so threatening. It's because you have to deal with two aspects. There's two offensive win conditions.
But the Graveyard deck wasn't the only one that dominated the arenas, as the combination of Electro Giant, Prince, Baby Dragon, and Tornado rose to the top. Since the Electro Giant was introduced, it had quickly become a staple in many competitive decks due to its powerful tanking and electrifying abilities. The Prince's role in this deck was crucial, as his charging ability allowed him to quickly take down enemy towers once the Electro Giant had cleared the way. In May, Clash Royale introduced the Goblin Drill, one of the most broken cards at its release, and it quickly became a must-have in many decks, reaching 23% usage, and because of that, cards like Dark Prince, Bomber, and Mega Knight achieved a huge surge in popularity, and a new anti-meta was born. The Mega Knight Double Prince combo. This deck proved to be highly effective against the Goblin Drill meta, with the Double Prince combo proving a powerful offensive threat while the Mega Knight and Bomber dealt with enemy swarms.
Get it? Boom. I mean, we overcommitted there, but like, at what cost, dude? At what cost, man? Drilly over here left lane. Maybe risky, but that's how we roll, dude. That's how we roll. He's gonna tower tree with us. There's the Electron Wizard right there. Ah! Save me! Oh, he's got a Princess as well? What? Boom! Cut this down. Oh, we 3-crowned it? I didn't even see that! What? I thought we were gonna lose our tower there, dude.
Thankfully, the Goblin Drill was nerfed several times in the upcoming months, and the balance of the game was restored. A bit. However, the Prince continued to shine in various decks, showcasing his versatility and adaptability in the ever-changing meta. So in November, Ash released a video called 1 Hour of the Best Giant Player Alive in Clash Royale. I went straight to the comments to see if this video was really worth the watch, and check this out. The entire video in one comment. Total matches, 25. Total wins, 23. 3 crown wins, 17. And that's a pretty incredible number of 3 crown wins, so I went ahead, watched the video, and some interactions were pretty interesting. Let me show you some of the best moments of this video from the best giant double prince player, Kamikaze.
Long video, we brought the series back just for you guys. I am joined by Kamikaze, the best giant player in the world, the only dude who consistently finishes top ladder playing giant double prince, guys. So in today's video, to remind you, maybe it's the first time you've seen one of these hour-long videos that I put out. Well, occasionally, a little less occasionally as of late, I should say. However, the idea here is a long video like this. Even if you mute me, I don't judge you guys for muting me. If you just study the gameplay and you think to yourself, this is what I like to do at least. What would I do in this situation throughout the matches, right? So, what would I do here? And then see what the pro does, see what the world's best does, and then kind of, put that side by side with your decision-making process, and then see what the difference is, right? Go ahead and see the decisions, right? And pay attention, and I guarantee you'll walk away from this video playing some amazing giant double prince. Promise you guys. You can't watch the best player in the world get a 3 crown. No big deal. Both players. So now we have Zap in hand. We're going to save that Zap for the Witch. I think that was a wise decision. Let's see what we do here. The Mega. We do zap away that Witch. Fireball comes down from the opponent. They were kind of running out of time as well. Need to get another Fireball down. They go with the Goblin Barrel instead. Let's see if we go Giant in the pocket here. I imagine we will. So Giant and Miner. So check it out. The Giant is going to tank for the Miner, forcing out an awkward Mega Knight. We have Zap back in hand. We Fireball here. Maybe we don't have Zap in hand. We do get the Mega onto the tower there. Very quick with the spells. You can tell that Kamikaze, when he's playing, he's always hovering spells. You can just tell by his response time, right? He's always hovering his spells after he drops troops. Sorry about the connection there. I have a couple glitches on the screen. Not sure if you guys saw that. Anyway, here we go. Miner goes in. front of the tower. Elite Barbarians come down. Dark Prince is going to charge against them, and Prince is going to finish off those Elite Barbarians. Now the opponent's kind of screwed here. Maybe they're not. Mega Knight comes down, but not before that. Prince gets one joust jab onto the right tower. Here we go. It's going to be a Goblin Barrel coming down. We go Mega Minion as well. Again, that Mega Knight is not going to leap. I thought he was going to. That is not the case. Dark Prince down in just a nick of time. Here we go again with the Witch. And here we go again with that same push here, guys. Miner to the back of the tower, recognizing there's not a lot of HP left on that tower. All we need to do is get one giant miner combination. See how we're using this tattoo I'll ever get in my life, I think. Still going strong. I'll show it off. We can do these kind of things in longer videos. Inferno Tower tattoo, ready? Boom. There she is. Hold on and turn. There she is. What do you think? What do you think? How stupid is this? I can't get the lighting right. Yeah, whatever. She's still hanging in there. All right, here we go. Boom! For those of you who missed it, it's not that exciting, but for those of you who missed it, had a vlog on the channel recording them tattoo the Inferno Tower on me. If I can think of it. Wow! Double tower down! Double tower down alert! Oh my god, is this guy gonna stop winning or what? Golly, they've given up. Another opponent who gave up with 1 minute left in the match. I'll be back in the next one, guys. B-Rad. A little trivia for you guys. B-Rad, in terms of per video views, is the largest mobile gaming content creator in the world. English speaking. Isn't that insane? To me, that's insane. Not insane. The caliber of content is amazing. I just can't believe he's doing it on a game this old. It's really testament to his personality, his humor, his editing, his video ideas. It's really incredible stuff, guys. That's another 3 crown here. Surprise, surprise. I'll be right back. Okay. We have Dark Prince in hand. Wow, we take a lot of damage here. Zap. Anything? Dark Prince. So half our tower gone on that Valkyrie, Goblin Barrel, Skeleton Barrel push. We counterattack with the Miner. Starmie comes down. Using the Miner in that position is where they'll usually drop, obviously, their E-Wiz or whatever defensive unit they're playing there. We take the tower down. Poutine. P.E.K.K.A. Same lane as our Giant starting play. So we got our work cut out for us here in the last match of the hour-long video. We're kiting the P.E.K.K.A. to the opposite lane. Very nice Miner. Probably the coolest play of the match so far, or the video so far, comes on the last match of the video. All right, so here we go. It's going to be a Prince on P.E.K.K.A. action in the left. We have a Witch down for the opponent. Mega Minion healthy on the tower. Fireball to dispose of some of those skeletons. Allow that Mega to take the tower down with the help of the Giant. So here comes a Lumberjack in the right-hand lane. We go with the Dark Prince. We're going to need to respond to that Lumberjack too, no? Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Whoa. Nice job by the opponent. Gobbo's raged up on the tower. That right tower is going to be down to Horus. All right, here we go. Archers. Witch. Miner of our own Fireball as well. That takes care of the Witch. And it gets the Prince to the tower as well. Getting more nice, juicy damage there on the left. Here we go, guys. 13 seconds, excuse me, remaining here before we cross over to double elixir time. Our final single elixir seconds ticking off the clock right now of the video. Dark Prince does score a charge on the left-hand tower. The opponent is making an all-out push behind this P.E.K.K.A. in the left. We go Giant again in the left as well, obviously. Here comes those Gobbos. And here comes the Mega. Alrighty then. 3 Musketeers! Fireball, Dark Prince will get the job done, man. Maybe not. So Musketeers absolutely decimate that. Wait a sec. It's not looking so good all of a sudden. Nice Fireball. Does take down the... Okay, Archers in the pocket. Well, that tower's going to be down. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I think we might be screwed here. Miner comes down. Down to Fireball. Giant Fireball. Zap. No! 2, 1. Oh, we end the video with a loss.
Now, we can safely say that the Prince's popularity is far from over, as the best players in the world showcased his true power in the 2021 World Finals. Mugi used the Mega Knight Prince deck with the Archer Queen against Cassidy's Mortar deck, and this match was definitely one for the books. The way Mugi strategically used the Mega Knight and Prince combo to take down Cassidy's defenses was truly impressive, highlighting the Prince's ability to thrive in a variety of deck archetypes and playstyles.
Prince does connect. We haven't seen a lot of Prince, but he actually hasn't been too bad here. Zap comes out from Mugi. I think we've only seen Zap maybe 2 or 3 times all weekend long as those archers get picked off by the Princess Tower. Miner going to go in here, maybe a Knight to catch. Does go to the wrong side, though.
So Mugi, I do believe that he's going to be running MK right here. He is going to be switching up the old Musketeer Bandit Ghost deck, going to be switching it around, going in with Prince, going in with the Archer Queen, just adapting to the meta, and there we go. We do see the MK getting a lot of value right there.
I like that Fireball, getting that Archer Queen out of play though, but now Igor thirsting for Elixir a little bit here on defense. High Mortar going to pull those wall breakers in. Nice play there. Archers up high as well to take care of that Miner, and that Knight's going to be more than enough to keep that MK at bay.
Mortar not getting the shot that he was looking for. Ice Spirit was in cycle, so had he played that, he could have looked at 1, 2 shots, but you know, if he had predicted that incorrectly, there would have been a lot of pressure with the Miner. It's so hard to be able to predict when you're two incredible pros. It's just these mind games. Which cards are you going to be playing? Because even if the situation says, hey, I'm going to be placing the bats, you know each player knows what they're supposed to be doing, and so you can't always do that.
What a great Knight. Distracts the Prince, distracts the Mega Knight, distracts the Archer Queen all the way back around to Mortar. Again, this Prince is going to get taken away from those archers, but that Ice Spirit not doing exactly what he wanted. Prince takes it off the board, and that Royal Ghost connecting on the right-hand side. Luckily for Igor, it wasn't his weaker of the 2 towers, but it now is by about 400, so Mugi swaps lanes.
Yeah, that Prince was a hero right there, able to allow the Ghost to be perfectly healthy, get into the right lane, all the way under 1400, and he is going to struggle with this. Archer Queen is still going to get a shot if he doesn't defend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ice Spirit not doing what Igor wanted. Archer Queen does get a shot in. Fireball comes in last second there from Igor to knock it back. Ice Spirit came down but didn't do what Igor needed as Mugi is starting to run away with this one. Miner into the back, getting tanked for by that Royal Ghost. We get a zap to reset, so Royal Ghost gets on the tower. There is a King Tower activation, but this might be it. Royal Ghost gets another shot in. Josh, that is trouble. Miner plus zap is all he needs.
MK should go down on top, not even going to be able to take the aggro of the tower. Goes in with the Miner. The zap is going to finish it off. Mugi 2-0.
But this match was nothing compared to the one where Mugi was against Muhammad Light. This time Muhammad Light wields the power of the Mega Knight and Prince, and this match is truly a battle of titans. Both players showcased incredible skill and strategy, making it a memorable showdown for fans around the world.
High cycle, insane micro. It's exactly what you talked about earlier, Rich. It's what you've talked about for years. Go for decks that give you outplay ability. That's what both of these gentlemen are doing with a bit of a change-up. You see the guards on one side, the Prince on the other, but still the wall breakers plus the Miner to create a lot of chip and a lot of pressure, and that's a great zap again. Zap we haven't seen a lot in competitive. We've seen it a ton today.
Miner goes to the outside. Prince taking for the Miner. Wall breakers is to play some defense, and
look
Mugi
at that.
knows he just got caught.
He spent way too much and got so little out of it. Muhammad Light strikes first, strikes hard. 1630 ticking down with that Miner on tower. His tower is virtually untouched.
What a crazy way to open. And Andrew, I'm a drill spammer. Everybody knows it. I talk about it a lot. Drill has not been very successful at this World Final.
No, you know, we saw a ton of it on day number 1, and it was maybe split down the middle or much closer than we've seen in days 2 and 3. It seems our competitors have kind of locked down that drill, figured out the best ways to defend. And the other thing about drill is that that's the thing you have to really worry about the most, and they've been having a good time defending easily at the bridge.
And we just saw a little bit of laugh out of Mohamed Light at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. And so far this weekend, that has been a terrible sign for his opponents.
That's very true. And you know what? You got to feel like it's got to be Julesy on the other side of that headset. And you have to give credit not only for his analysis, but the fact that you can keep your competitor having a good time at this level with this much on the line. That's a lot for a coach to do.
The defense Mohamed Light just played against that drill wall breakers push was absolutely brilliant. He played the wall breakers defensively to pop the drill and then arrows behind. That is next level gameplay.
And you talk about the arrow value. Not only did it clean up those goblins, it also took the wall breakers off the board that were coming in. There's that zap, but the zap ends up allowing the wall breakers to connect. Nice connection there, but still down by about 1,000.
And now this is where Mugi's starting to take control a little bit. He's gotten a better rhythm. I think that maybe he was a bit out of sorts in cycle earlier in the game. Now he has the guards pretty consistently for that Prince. Doing a good job, but now this Mega Knight's going to set up a pretty big push to the right-hand side.
And I was just going to say, I would really like to see Mohamed Light use that Mega Knight on this defense specifically. You saw a big-time spend by Mugi in both lanes, so use that MK, stop the wall breakers, and create a bit of a counter push.
Minute 40 remaining here in sudden death overtime. Around 2,000 HP, 2,100-ish on both sides for Mohamed Light, currently in the lead with that 1398 on the opposite side of the board.
Prince coming in. That Prince value with the MK is something I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of as this continues to tick down with only 80 seconds remaining. Miner going to go to the back, does miss the Valk, and now Wallbreaker's tanked for by that Musketeer.
12:24 the mark on the right-hand side, and now is going to tank for the Bomber in the left-hand lane is that drill. Wallbreakers will not touch this time, getting taken care of early enough, and that Muskie now will pull the Valkyrie. Good spot here as we go into triple.
That Tesla up high, unfortunately for Mo. That Musketeer does not stay alive and assist the offensive push he had coming in, but Miner on the tower once again. And if there's one guy that knows how to cycle miners rapidly, ravenously, it's Mohamed Light.
And you kind of see a little tilt of the head there from Mugi in that moment. Just cannot catch a break right now with those miner catches. Good variation here so far from Mo.
And that's the other thing, that mind game that goes in. Nice pre-cycled guards, but he goes to the front with the arrows, and that is why everyone is calling him the best in the world. 3 miners not caught, even with pre-cycled guards, and a brilliant set of arrows to get that cherry on top.
And cannot believe those wall breakers did not connect on the left-hand side. Miner now going to the right-hand side for Mohamed Light, adding to that lead right now. Arrows to go on top, and that Miner is just putting the hurt on that right side tower.
Incredible. Zap plus arrows will do it. Mohamed Light takes game number 1, and he's one step closer to sending this to our super grand finals.
Amazing match, but Mohamed Light is just on another level. And by the end of 2021, the Prince still held a position at around 5% usage across all levels of play. He definitely wasn't considered broken or overpowered. He was finally in a healthy and balanced spot. But that was soon about to change, and 2022 brought one new wave of balance changes that would shake up the meta once again. So it's February 2022. And the beloved Prince received a pretty significant buff. His hit points were decreased by 4%, but he gained the ability to jump over the river, just like the Hog Rider. This change made the Prince a more versatile and unpredictable card, allowing players to use him in new and creative ways. Often there were funny situations that players found themselves in, where the Prince would leap over the river unexpectedly and catch opponents off guard. This added an element of surprise and brought a fresh dynamic to gameplay that kept players on their toes. However, it didn't actually boost the popularity of the Prince that much. And there were no new decks created, so let's just jump straight over to August, where our Prince received yet another update. This time it was a nice buff. A balance update decreased the distance required for charging to 3 tiles. From 3.5. You know, half a tile might sound like nothing, but actually this small adjustment made the Prince more viable, as it could now connect to the tower quicker. For instance, let's watch this clip from Surtag.
think this will be fine because then I won't have to deal with the Mega Minion. The Prince might actually get hits on the tower. It not even might. It will get one hit at least. Maybe it gets a charge. What? It didn't get a charge? No way.
This is a clip before the buff, and in this interaction, that 0.5 tile difference would mean a charged up hit on the tower, making the outcome of the match completely different. In October, the Goblin Gang received a nice buff as well. Clash Royale devs added 1 Spear Goblin to the gang. Up to this time, there were only 2 Spear Goblins and 3 Goblins, but since the balance update, they finally skyrocketed in usage rate, and with them came the Goblin Giant Double Prince deck back into the meta. Now, it was very interesting to see just how powerful the combination of the Mega Knight and Prince is, since the best players used this combo in 2021, and we're about to see the same combo from Morten in 2022. Morten is one of the top players in Clash Royale, and in this match he's against Air Surfer, who used the Mortar deck with the Skeleton King. This match was very intense, and both players displayed incredible skill and strategy in their gameplay.
Now 6-0 throughout this bracket. Morten has gone a combined 4-1, now 5-1. His only loss against Moogie, so I think that's forgiven. I think technically we can say there are 2 players who are undefeated throughout this bracket.
I can 100% agree with that. Nice zap from Morten here. Looks like we're going to be having now a Miner mirror matchup. Obviously a bit different. Morten with the Mega Knight Miner, whereas Air Surfer using a Mortar Miner Skeleton King. This Mortar Miner Skeleton King deck is so popular in these World Finals. It wasn't as popular before. Do you think there's a main reason for that, or do you think it's just kind of a fad?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because, you know, we're still seeing the giant skeleton, so then you have to assume maybe it's because of the loss of mirror in every single deck. But right here,
absolutely,
it's always been strong. That was never the problem. It's just, oh, you know, the cards that are in this deck probably just work better with other cards like the Mirror and Giant Skeleton.
For sure. So the other big thing in this matchup is the fact that Morten has 2 small spells. This version of Mega Knight, Miner, Wall Breakers doesn't always have 2 small spells, but this one does, and that's going to be extremely useful for Morten going down the line here. He can always just arrows the Skarmy, zap the bats, and he's going to be in a really nice spot.
Yeah, it's going to require some very skilled gameplay from the Musketeer use of Air Surfer, and there we go. Prince does get a shot, and to top it all off, the Mortar doesn't shoot the tower. Instead, it goes for the already dead Prince.
Another round of bats here, cleaning up the counter push. Miners chipping away a little bit on this left side tower. Still anybody's game, but if you are Morten, you got to be feeling pretty good after an interaction like that.
Morten using one of my favorite decks in the game. We do still need to see the Mega Knight pop out because technically it still could be any card and still not going to see it. So he's electing to just keep the pace of the battle, and I like that from him. I think it should work out, at least in this specific matchup.
Yeah, maybe he's saving that Mega Knight in order to defend with it and get some nice value. Maybe we'll see it on the Musketeer here potentially to get a nice Mega Knight Prince push going.
Yeah, and there we go. We do see it. Is the zap going to come down on the bats? No, we do see. I mean, I would like to see a prediction zap. Okay, not going to happen. Not going to get too crazy. He doesn't need it. Mega Knight does get the jump. Miner on top of the Mega Knight. But I think the Prince might get a shot if he doesn't play any more troops. Bats come out in response. A great situation for Morten.
And I really like that idea for Morten to save up a little bit of elixir, get the arrows down the bats, and then save the zap for the Skarmy, because the Skarmy is a card that's going to get a lot more value unless you have that instantaneous zap to clear it off the board right away.
Right there, places the Mega Knight at the bridge. Will be able to protect the Archer Queen from getting splashed on by the Mortar. Zap will come out shortly. There it is every single time. Not missing a singular Skelly. Archer Queen going to pop its ability. Skeleton King not going to be able to do enough.
That one bat.
818. Wow, look at that bat.
That bat did so much damage. Archer Queen is going to get cleaned up right now. Air Surfer going for the Mortar left-hand side. He realized he has to go opposite lane and apply pressure if he wants to make anything happen right now. But another Miner comes through. Air Surfer is able to catch it, but this is a monster push, and the Skeleton King ability is not going to be able to be charged by the Skarmy. The zap is always coming out so fast.
Yeah, I mean, these zaps have been phenomenal, and, you know, it's not often we get to talk about zap play being phenomenal, so it's kind of cool that we get to here. Ghost continually cycled on the right side just as pressure. This time, elects to use it in the back on the left side.
Perfect defense from Air Surfer in that last sequence, and he does get a nice couple mortar shots in order to supplement some damage here. We're heading into Triple Elixir now. Let's see if Air Surfer is able to find a way to come back despite the double small spells here.
Right there, Skeleton Army to protect the mortar. No zap in tow, so that Prince will be taken out fully. 505, and there we go. We do see him electing to use the zap on top of the tower instead. 273 on the crown tower.
Once again, just perfect spell usage from Morton. Again, he realizes he doesn't need to zap that Skarmy. The mortar is already dead. He decides to save it for the bats on the other end to ensure his damage.
A nice little prediction snowball from Air Surfer. Will he be able to protect the Musketeer? Miner used on defense. That's not what you need. You need the damage. Air Surfer in a lot of trouble.
Archer Queen ability is going to pop, take out a lot of these bats, as well as get a couple shots this mortar. Only 10 seconds left. Air Surfer needs a miracle if he wants to take this game right now.
Mega Knight will not jump. We do see the poison plus the snowball. Mortar will not lock onto the crown tower. Morton will take a 2-0, our second 2-0 of the day.
Well played by Morton. Air Surfer stood no chance. So in October, the Phoenix was introduced, and it was one of the most broken cards in the game. With its fast attack speed, high hit points, and gosh darn revival ability, it quickly skyrocketed to the top. Also, the Monk was introduced, costing only 4 elixir at the time. The Monk proved to be one of the best champions, with its ability to reflect damage and shut down enemy pushes, making it a game changer in the meta. Both the Phoenix and the Monk ruled the meta for weeks, making the Prince one of the most useless cards in the game. So in November, the Phoenix hit a 73% usage rate, the Monk reached 47%, and look at that, the Mirror at 34%. If the worst card in the game, like the Mirror, becomes meta, you know there is something wrong with the game, and our Prince didn't stand a chance against these powerful cards, reaching only 2%. With that in mind, we're entering 2023, in which Raymond will face one of the biggest challenges he has ever faced. In January of 2023, players discovered that the Phoenix fit surprisingly well into giant double Prince decks. Boss, one of the top players, was among the first to take advantage of this deck, as it had been one of his favorites in the past, and he was thrilled to have the opportunity to use it once again. Fast forward to April, and the meta was dominated by a deck featuring the Mega Knight, Prince, Wallbreakers, and Archer Queen. Several top players, including Boss, Riley, and Ian77, utilized this deck to great success, consistently finishing in the top 10 on the leaderboards.
Let's go, we can. The fireball that he played on the Queen probably wasn't that good.
I'm gonna Prince. He has nothing. Guys, he's dead. He has nothing. Trust. Yeah, he's dead. I'll pre-arrows for goblins. Let's go. Yeah, he's so dead. Okay, I'll go for the bats here. Yeah, I knew he would Hog Rider. Gonna have Musketeer up high. Make sure he doesn't get a fireball on our tower. Miner. Oh, Mega Knight's on the Musketeer. Zap. Oh, he's dead. I don't want to wall breakers right away. I'll pre-arrows for anything. Let's go. Prince is on tower. Good game.
Split 3M. Oh, wait, he goes for the pump. I'm just going to drop my Prince in the back here. I'm going to Queen in the pocket straight away just to bait him a little bit. I'm going to pop the ability. Oh, he messed up the bandit. Okay, wait, that's going to pretty much take the tower, unless it does. Oh, it does. Wait, he just lost. I'm just going to go for my bats here, and if he tries to do anything, I'll just go for my... Okay, I'm going to wall breaker kite. And then I can just go for my Mega Knight on top of everything. That's game. Let's go. I know this guy's so mad right now that the Archer Queen finished off the whole tower. Let's go for my offensive miner here, and I'll bandit as well. And I'll bats. He doesn't have spirit and cycle, so he can't kill the bats, and that's game. Let's go. I'm just going to go for a Prince in the back here. I don't know, but I have like a weird feeling that he's going to Magic Archer. Just because like, he's down damage and he's mad. You saw he was emoting. Yeah, he Magic Archers. I'm just going to Mega Knight here. And a good thing that I was ready. Okay, wait, he actually just lost. That's game. He can't defend this. He just wasted his skeletons too, so he can't reset the Prince. Yep, he logs, and the Valkyrie's already dead. And he uses his NATO. He doesn't have any elixir. I'm just going to go for my miner here on the King Tower just to tank for the Prince. And yeah, he's going to get 3 crown. I'm just going to go for my bandit right away here. And yeah, that's a 3 crown again. Let's go. I'm just going to go for my Prince here on the bandit. I'm not going to miner because he could be playing 3M. And 3M has Elixir Collector. I'm just going to go for my Mega Knight at the bridge here since I do have a counter pushing Prince. And Mega Knight Prince is a really hard push to stop. He has Ram Rider bridge spam. Oh, that monk just got destroyed. I'm just going to bandit here with it. He already lost. Wait, he's going to get 3 crowned. I'm just going to bats here. He has no elixir. He can't do anything. He's actually already dead. This deck is so broken. 1 minute in and I already have a 3 crown. I'm just gonna miner here to keep tanking, and that's a 3 crown. I just went for Prince Mega Knight and this dude cut 3 crown.
A closer look at the statistics in April reveals that the Mega Knight had a 9% usage rate while the Prince stood at 6%. While these numbers may not seem extraordinary, they indicate that both cards were in a healthy and viable position within the meta. However, their moment in the spotlight was short-lived, as just a few months later, both the Mega Knight and Prince began to fade from the meta. In the middle of 2023, Clash Royale introduced the game-changing Evolution update. This monumental update allowed several cards to evolve, granting them new powers and abilities. As these evolved cards began to dominate the meta, the Prince kinda struggled to find his place, as he couldn't provide sufficient value against these powered-up troops. In a particularly frustrating interaction, the Prince was unable to even one-shot the evolved Firecracker.
Tower basically was just in your queue. Like, you didn't even have to do anything special.
Oh my god, she survives a Prince!
What?
We don't have that in notes that she got stronger.
Oh man, get out of your Princess, please.
Highlighting his diminished effectiveness, to say the least. This lack of viability led to a steady decrease in the Prince's usage rate, causing him to fall from the respectable position he had once held. It seemed that Supercell had once again introduced an update that rendered half of the cards in the game ineffective and undesirable for an extended period. While the concept of the Evolution update was intriguing and had potential, the exclusion left a lot to be desired. The introduction of evolved cards created a significant imbalance in the meta, leaving many beloved cards, like the Prince, struggling to keep up. As more evolutions were introduced, the Prince's viability continued to diminish, making it increasingly clear that he was in dire need of a buff to remain relevant. However, in September, the Clash Royale developers showed some love for our dear Raymond by introducing a new challenge called Prince's Revenge. This challenge required players to incorporate a raged-up Prince into their decks, breathing new life into the card and reminding players of his potential. The Prince's Revenge challenge proved to be an enjoyable and exciting way to showcase the Prince's capabilities with a pretty fresh twist, providing players with an engaging gameplay experience that rejuvenated interest in the card. Surprisingly, the Prince saw a resurgence in usage during the 2023 World Finals. In one notable match, Adriel opted to harness the power of the evolved Firecracker alongside the Prince and Mega Knight against Sosa, who wielded the Electro Giant and Evo Skellies. This intense match showcased the strategic prowess of both players, who deserve commendation for their high-level gameplay.
With Evo Firecracker Hog, maybe I can replicate that.
But interesting to see the Ghost here, the Ghost and the Prince. This is going to be a Mega Knight Hog Rider deck, Andrew.
Very interesting, and we're going to see how that stacks up here as we move forward. I mean, at least you've got the skeletons there to surround the Evo skeletons for the Royal Ghost, and of course, skeletons to help with the Prince, but MK will be very interesting as we move forward.
So Mega Knight Prince Hog versus Sosa, most likely using Electro Giant here. Trying to think of how this matchup really shapes up. It's really going to have to do with how the single elixir goes.
And you know what, honestly, I'm wondering if Adriel's kind of ready for this, because I was even thinking in my mind that Sosa was going to play E-Giant in this second game. And I also don't know if I love how much he's leaking at the moment, because Adriel has a deck that can kind of be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe he should have just cycled the skeletons a little bit quicker. Maybe he's just waiting for a response to deal with from Adriel's side.
Well, obviously, Sosa's deck being as heavy as it is going to be a lot more effective when we get into double and triple elixir. We'll see how he wants to respond to this hog. And Barb comes out, and looks like one bat maybe got a bite in there early on.
But that Ghost splashing on the left-hand side gets some solid damage over there as well. And like we talked about, the single elixir really going to dictate how much damage Adriel can get. And he's done quite well for himself here.
Absolutely, and we'll see if he can continue to add to that over the next 47.
Prince charging in, hitting that Goblin Brawler. Evo Firecracker could get a lot of value here. Sosa's options are either lightning it or let it get value, and it's tough.
And I was going to say, with that Goblin Cage out of cycle, you imagine that Adriel would want to go strong on offense. Down to 1469 is that right-hand tower, and then this Evo'd Firecracker, maybe, no, not going to get any support there, but a couple hits in. 1173 as an E-Giant comes down at the bridge.
E-Giant at the bridge, he does get a very nice lightning, stopping that Prince charge. He has to worry about the Ghost on the left-hand side, but he's got the Skelly Surround. This is solid damage for Sosa.
Yeah, this is great for Sosa. Maybe seeing the first bit of light in his World Finals run, 1173 to 1478, feeling a lot closer now.
Barbarian Barrel takes care of the Firecracker, preventing any damage, and the Cage perfectly placed to stop any hog hits.
Sometimes it only takes one play or two to feel like you're back in rhythm. And finally, for Sosa fans and Sosa himself, feels like he might be there. Adriel gonna have to feel a little bit nervous and maybe play a little bit better defense than we saw on that last E-Giant set.
Evo Firecracker at the bridge. It's locked on damage. It's so much E-Giant getting taken care of by that Prince quite nicely as well.
And no NATO there for the Hog. Bowler's already down. Double Bowlers are in, but Bowler is no longer behind an E-Giant. It is gonna, I guess, technically tank for this Phoenix Egg, but I'm sure Adriel will get on top of that very easily, and it's an MK right on top of that egg.
Bowler getting some nice shots on both sides, but the right side's what matters. Prince down, and he doesn't have any way to stop this.
That lightning, and Sosa's gonna take it!
Wow. GG's, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. And we're going to a game 3.
Despite Adriel's valiant efforts, Sosa's masterful pressure with the Electro Giant in the final moments secured his victory. In the following match, Morten once again brought out the Mega Knight Prince deck to face off against Ruben and his Electro Giant deck. Fans were on the edge of their seats, wondering if the Mega Knight Prince combo could overcome the formidable Electro Giant this time around.
Coming out from Ruben, I mean, we've seen it a lot, and I think we're going to see it again. This is looking like E-Giant.
So Mega Knight Prince Hog here against most likely the E-Giant deck. NATO, of course, going to be a problem for those Hog Riders, but then if you get that big push behind and the Hog Rider gets NATO'd in, that could be devastating. Of course, as we're seeing here, Tombstone, easy to shut down those Princes.
Yeah, Ruben, I mean, it seems like he's giving up a lot of damage right there, but down to 140, it looks like if he's running the E-Giant deck, he can just win once it hits double elixir. He just has to defend out. So that's why he's giving up that chip damage with the Bandit. He wants to be able to build those pushes.
Prince to control the bowler on the left-hand side. Morten might have to, he is very low on elixir. He's gonna have to tank some damage here on the right-hand lane, goes with the Bandit instead, picks up the Archers and the Baby Dragon. Clean defense for 3 in the right-hand lane for SK Gaming's player.
Yeah, we can see a little bit of frustration on Morten's face. I really think that if the matchup is the way that both of these players are suggesting it will be, I think Ruben will have a huge matchup advantage.
Here we go, double elixir, and now both players slowing way down here. And you gotta wonder, does waiting until triple give the advantage to Ruben? And of course, with Morten, and I guess we're not gonna have to answer that question, Morten wants to react to this E-Giant as he does here.
Wow, it's very rare where we see players just leaking elixir once double elixir happens, but it makes sense. You have the MK, it's hard for you to defend against these E-Giant pushes, and you want to be able to set up the correct pushes. Baby Dragon will take out the Hog. It's going to get several shots, but that's okay. You have your pushes starting. This is what you want if you're Ruben. Yes, you're giving up a lot of damage, but this is where you start to give damage on his end.
So 1,200 HP or about 1,100 HP at the difference right now. Bandit and Mega Knight. You see Morten having to ignore the Evolved Archer on the left-hand side, and at the moment can't get to the Evolved Archer on the right-hand side. Firecracker finally comes with the Mega Knight. Boulder working against that Bandit. Tombstone on the left-hand lane. Firecracker doesn't get through, no, but the Hog Rider gonna get maybe 2 here, and just gets the 1. 14-01 either way. Still 1,000 HP lead for Morten.
Yeah, Morten doing a great job, and now I have to take a look at the deck and see why he's actually finding success, and that's because most of the time it's going to be Mega Knight, Miner, Wall Breakers. Instead, this Hog is creating havoc. Last time he almost got multiple shots. Archers are the only card in cycle. This Hog creates a lot more problems that the Wall Breaker Mega Knight version does not create.
And an excellent Prince there by Morten to defend. Ruben not finding a way to get into the second level, finally goes E-Giant into his weak hand side, which is also where he has the most damage.
E-Giant going same lane. Should not have the Firecracker, and there we go. Actually, the Firecracker Evo being used, so that's interesting as well.
Lightning for that Evo'd Firecracker. Hog on the right-hand side with minions behind. Evolved Archers out for Ruben. Prince trying to work against the Electro Giant left-hand lane. Damage though on the right-hand side does give Ruben the lead in both lanes with 50 seconds left.
Baby Dragon not going to cross the bridge, so going to be able to defend this fairly easily. And right there, the E-Giant coming out just a tad bit too early. Hog plus Bandit, he's not going to choose to NATO to the King Tower, so will the Archers be able to take it out in time? It does, and that's going to be a lead for Ruben, finally, with 30 seconds left in OT.
1296 to 1401. Hog to the right-hand side. Bowler will defend. Mega Knight doesn't leap. Mega Knight almost connects, just barely doesn't, and that could be a turning point here. 18 seconds left, and Morten does not have a lot of spell power to go against this lightning.
Yeah, right there. Double Baby Dragons up. The minions are going to do nothing. The Hog is going to go to the Tombstone. 979 to 1401. This is going to be Ruben taking out Morten. Oh my!
Of all the things you could expect on day number 1,
the match unfolded in an unpredictable manner, with Morten displaying exceptional skill throughout most of the battle. However, in the end, Ruben managed to clinch a hard-earned victory, leaving spectators in awe of his performance. As we stand at the precipice of 2024, the anticipation was palpable. There are whispers that our beloved Raymond is poised to take the Clash Royale meta by storm in the coming year. So brace yourselves, for the Prince's reign is nigh. Or I guess I should say nay. The stage is set for an unforgettable 2024, and I for one cannot wait to see what incredible feats the Prince will accomplish. Let the Chronicle of 2024 unfold and bear witness to the rise of the Prince. The synergy between these cards, combined with the evolved bats and wall breakers, created a powerful and dynamic deck that led to an exciting and unpredictable meta for Clash Royale players.
The Mega Knight Prince push can be challenging for the opponent to deal with sometimes, so he is going to go for the Fisherman. We got the Prince coming in though, and this is what I was talking about. The Prince is just hard to deal with, and then because he just used his E-Spirit, now we have the bats coming in. Oh, unfortunate that he went for his Evo bats, but we got a massive amount of damage over there. I feel like I cannot complain with that at all. Is he even going to go Mega Knight or RG here? All I got is my... Alright, please, these need to heal up. Sweet. Those are going to be... Yep, he has to fireball those. But the only issue is he's pretty much going to take the... Is he going to... He took the tower. That is great. At least, we got his. That's okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't like this two-tower situation, though, against RG.
But this was just the beginning. In June, Supercell realized the Prince's potential had been overshadowed for far too long, and they knew they had to take a decisive action to revive him from obscurity. That's why they made the bold decision to buff the Prince enormously. The June balance update brought about a game-changing adjustment. The distance required for the Prince to charge was decreased to an astonishing 1.5 tiles, down from 3. This is absolutely insane. A whopping 50% reduction in charging distance. This change effectively transformed the Prince into a mini P.E.K.K.A. on a pony, as he was consistently dealing double damage with his lightning-fast charges.
No joke, guys, after the balance changes, the Prince is very strong now. Everyone has been focused on the new Goblin cards and the update that people haven't been paying a ton of attention to the balance changes, but what I've noticed is ever since the balance changes have gone live, there's been like 50 people running the Prince in the top 200, which is pretty ridiculous.
For the first time in Clash Royale history, players found themselves truly intimidated by the Prince's presence on the battlefield, knowing that even the slightest misstep could spell defeat. The impact of this buff was nothing short of remarkable. The Prince skyrocketed from the bottom of the list at 95th place with a near 1% usage rate in May to securing a spot among the top 9 best cards in the game, boasting an impressive 27% usage rate. That's an astounding 2600% increase in usage. The newly buffed Prince became a force to be reckoned with in the arenas, and those who had long admired the Prince's potential finally had the chance to witness him dominate the battlefield once again. This resurgence led to some of the most insane and memorable gameplay in Clash Royale history. Recognizing that they had, perhaps, overbuffed the prince, Supercell took steps to bring him back to a more balanced state. In July, a new balance update increased the distance required for charging to 2 tiles, from 1.5. This 33% increase in charging distance made the prince slightly easier to counter, and the effect was noticeable. In July, the prince's usage rate dropped by 50%, placing him at the 18th spot on the list. Despite this decrease, he still remained a top-tier card, and I personally believe we'll continue to see him among the best cards for the foreseeable future. However, there's still one tantalizing question that remains unanswered. When will the prince receive his highly anticipated evolution? The excitement surrounding the prince's potential evolution is palpable, and players are eagerly speculating about how it'll reshape the game. Regardless of the abilities he gains through evolution, I'm confident that the prince's reign of terror is far from over, and we can expect him to claim the title of the best card in the game very soon. If you found this prince's journey fascinating, wait until you hear about the day the Archer Queen broke Clash Royale. It's an epic journey that perfectly complements this story, so don't miss out. Click on that thumbnail to watch it now. I'll see you there.